All right, today we are live. What is going on, people? I'm going to remove you, Kim, for a second, and we're going to go back to it. Today we are going to go and we're going to talk through Agile and other questions that you might have. I know a lot of people are stressed about this new PMBOK change. I got something special next week. I'm going to bring on the person who's responsible for the development of the PMP exam for PMI. She and I are going to do an interview next week, so it's going to be amazing. We're going to do it live, so that's awesome. So what we're going to do today is we're going to bring on Kim. Hey, Kim, what's going on?
Hello. Hi.
Don't be nervous. It's just you and me talking. And so, Kim, let's just go through as people start to roll in here. They'll ask questions. We'll go through stuff, and it'll be a good opportunity for us to talk through. But today we want to talk about you. Like, you got an exam coming up. You've been studying for a while.
Yeah.
Some of the things that you talked about was like Agile. Are there specific topics that you're a little, not sure of that you and I could maybe walk through and get a little tighter? Like, is there anything that comes to mind that we could talk about?
Yes. Definitely Agile. And I've always, from kid on into, I guess, older kid into high school, was always the person that was scared of math. So when it comes to all of the
EVM and stuff.
Yeah, EVM. I want to really, and I know I just want to have it embedded in me. And some things I do. It's pretty easy. I know it, but
right.
As soon as I see see one of the questions, I immediately freeze. So I just want that anxiety to go away about that. And then I think I have anxiety anyway because I've taken the exam twice and without success. So I have some anxiety. So I feel confident when I'm studying and when I'm in the coaching sessions. Really feel like I can rock it out. But then I take a practice. I start taking my practice quizzes, and then I start to kind of get nervous.
Started getting nervous.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna share the screen, and then we're gonna what are we gonna do? We're gonna talk it through. All right. So I got three big things. We'll make it up. There we go. Fancy pants screen. So I heard three things. So the first thing is like Agile, which is a big topic, but we'll nail down the big topic. So Agile, we'll talk about that. You said EVM, which I love EVM. I'd like to talk about it all day, all night. It's not the biggest thing on the exam, but I'll break it down. We'll break it down together. And the last thing is just like general exam nerves. Is that right? Like general exam process and nerves and stuff like that?
Right.
Yeah. All right. You want to hit one first? You choose.
Let's go over the easy one first. Let's go over my nerves because we know.
Okay, you think that's the easy one? Like, all right. I like your confidence. All right, so nerves. So what is you're nervous about the exam? You failed before in the past. Like, what is driving your nervousness?
That I've already taken it twice, and I have one time left over, and so everyone in my class, I call it my class, my coaching session, everyone has passed. Everyone so passed. They give me that boost, but then when the date gets closer, this past date, it got closer, I immediately just freaked out.
Okay, so you're scared I will fail. Now, those people that were with you, they smarter than you? They way better? Like,
no, they weren't. I mean, I miss my classmates.
I know. All right, so we'll go through some questions and we'll see like how you're doing and stuff. I don't see in the coaching calls too bad, but like, okay, so is there been any other examples in life where you were like, I'm really scared, I clam up? Anything like? Do you have any correlates? Have you had any situations like that in anything else in life?
Yeah, I just started another new position as a project manager, and I'm nervous because I have only worked on small projects, so I'm nervous that I may not. I don't know. I want success, but I'm kind of nervous because I got to learn this whole process of being a project manager. So
I understand. So you're like walking into a new, so the thing you talked about was like a new environment, a new position.
Yeah.
And it said it made you feel like maybe I can't do it, or what are they going to say? Like they're all going to laugh at me. They're going to kick me out the door, all these things.
I am the new kid on the block, and I feel like all eyes on me.
All eyes are on you. I understand. And so how are you dealing with it in that arena?
Honestly, we do have our stand-ups. And so, of course, I'm new, so I don't have a lot to bring to the table on the stand-up. But and speaking to my manager, we have one-on-ones. And so I've been there now a month. So, of course, I'm going through the training. But when I have my one-on-ones, I'm just honest with my manager, and I let him know that I am ready. And so I know that I have to spend the extra time to, I guess, work on the project, or go through the system. So I have to spend that extra time
to go through it. So the thing that I'm hearing with you is like, you're very honest with yourself. You're being like, hey, I'm new. I don't know everything. This means a lot to me. Like, you're being open. You're not hiding. You're engaging. And when you do that, does it make you feel better or worse?
Right, because our calls go well. So my one-on-one with my manager, it goes well because I'm honest. He gives me some feedback, some tips on things. So I feel good that I can go ahead and take on the task.
All right. So you know how, like, if I were to paint, I don't know your boss or anybody else, but you've identified your emotions, you shared them, you brought together. Now, when you're starting like a new job, is the question, will this be the right time to address it? Yeah, Jorge, we'll have questions. We can go through it pretty soon. We're going to go through the mental side right now. So like, Kim, back to you, like when we're going through like a new job and stuff, when we lean there, they're not expecting you to be perfect, right? They're expecting you to work through it. And that's what we're doing with you, like in the coaching calls and stuff. You're doing good. You're opening up. And if you like try to be perfect in anything, like the results aren't great. Now, here's the other thing. Like, you might say, but the exam is not a person. Like if I were you, I'd say, this is my retort to Scott. Like, the exam is not a person. It's not going to be understanding. It's not going to be listening to me. I'm not going to have a call with it. I'm not going to be able to talk myself through it. I got to answer A, B, C, D. Does that seem fair and scary?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. The exam demands 61% out of us. So it's not demanding 100%. It's demanding 61%. Plus or minus, like no one really knows.
Right.
So the thing that we need to do is, in order to deal with this, like all those things in the emotional resilience videos, that we need to learn how to handle the emotions. First of all, let's handle the content and the process of solving questions, so we have that to stand on, and then also prepare ourselves for the exam. Like, how am I going to walk in? Like, what am I going to do if I get nervous? All those kind of things are really, really big, so that when those things happen, you're not like, oh my God, it's here, I'm going to die. Like, that's how I think a lot.
Right.
It's more like, it's here. It's not great, but I can work through it. Okay. So we can go through some of those methods, but like breathing, it sounds cheesy, but it works. Like slowing your breathing down, sitting up, confidently, having positive things said to yourself. Those kind of things. And then realizing at the end of the day, like, this is important to you, but if you fail, it's not an indication of your worth. Okay.
And what I'm hearing too is I can't think about the past. Like, I can't think about taking the exam previously, because I didn't have what I have now. So
yes, ma'am.
So that's one of the things I can hold on to, is that forget about what I went through and just hone in on what I've learned, because I do feel good about a lot of, I understand now, whereas before I tried to memorize a lot of things, but now I have some understanding. It's not perfect, but I do have some understanding.
All right. Well, so now we know. We've gone through the easy one, nerves and stuff. And I love the fact that you're not going to let whatever happened yesterday or in the old times affect how it is now, because it's not related at all. You don't have to get a higher score because of how you scored. That's just not the way it goes. Everything is a blank slate. So why don't you impress me, or let's just talk it through. So if I know nothing about Agile, What's the big deal? Like, talk me through what's important. What do I need to know from your perspective?
What I like about Agile that I really remember is that it's all about teamwork.
Okay.
So that kind of helps me out. I know
All
that
right.
with Waterfall, it's all about process, and you do work with the team, but it's not some things you don't have to be with your team in Waterfall, but in Agile, it's pretty much everything. Everything you all have to discuss it in your all of your sprints and your retrospective. You got to be able to have that team, and you all talk about everything and what you've learned. So that's the one thing that I definitely know about Agile.
Okay, cool. And so very team focused. We're changing the dynamic of how we're using the team. In my brain, instead of like top down, where traditional project management is like we make a perfect plan way up front, we dictate it down to the masses, they do the work, little worker bees. Like it's kind of flipped.
Right.
And we're saying the team is really the champions, and we're going to do everything we can to align to them. And even so, with the product owner saying that they have a backlog and they're trying to refine it, that's to support the team in a sense and the customer, because we don't want to put work in front of the team that's not valuable. It's not wasting their time, right? So cool. So talk me through just an iterative cycle of Agile. Like, how does it start? Like, what's the deal? Like, what's the little picture that I should have in my mind? Talk me through, please.
Okay, so we start with a product owner.
Okay.
And so I hope I'm not taking it out of order, but with the product owner, then we have the project.
Okay, we got the project. Cool. I got it.
Yeah, what the customer is requesting, or
all right. So we'll put the customer down here.
Yeah.
All right.
What they're requesting, and
yes, ma'am.
then we have our team of people.
Dev team. We'll put them in the middle. Like what do we say? Like the team. Like they call them a dev team a lot, right? Development team.
And
team.
then
Just think
we
about
also have our Scrum Master, which I call him the coach or her the coach.
I love it. I love it. So we'll put the Scrum Master up here. So we'll put the Scrum Master up here. All right. And so that's the coach, the facilitator, that person. I don't know what I'm drawing here, but yeah, they're up there. So 3 roles, major roles: product owner, Scrum Master, facilitator, and dev team. Love it. Keep it rolling. So what do these people do? How does it structure? What's the mechanism?
Okay, so my next understanding is we have the idea could be a software update.
Sure.
Think of a project. So we have the software update or an enhancement, and the product owner goes through what we call the backlog.
The backlog.
We have all of our ideas and what's needed, what the different requirements.
And what do you call these things that are on the backlog? What are these little lines that I'm drawing? What are those things? Starts with a U. There's 2 words. Second word starts with an S. If you're in the population out there, dude from Poland, Jorge, tell me what you think it is too, just to get the masses involved. What are the things that we put on the backlog? You want to play Hangman real quick?
Stories.
Stories. Yeah, we got stories. What kind of stories?
User stories.
User stories. Yeah. Those are all user stories in there. And then like they come in like a what? Like they come in a what's the thing that they're usually
card. They come in on
card. Yeah, card. Yeah. And there's 3 C's to the card. Like, or what's the purpose of this card? What are we trying to do there?
So with the cards, and I can't think of the name right there. With the cards, you write out all of your ideas, and you're going to have a list.
Yeah. So like there's like 3 C's. And why would we write them on a card? This isn't a card, but why would we write our user stories on a card? Like why?
You want to use them. You want to use the card because it gives you an opportunity to kind of shift and move things in. If you're not certain, if it doesn't go in the first column, you can move it over. It can be something that comes later.
Okay, cool. And so you're conceptualizing, and you mentioned it. So let's just give shout out to Noja. I apologize, dude. I'm the worst with names. He said user story, so you win something. And then Jorge said to show user IDs. That's true.
Okay.
And so they can be moved around. Yeah, I love it. So you guys mentioned a little bit of moving around. I think you might be talking about a Kanban board, which we can talk about a visual.
Kanban vision board. That's how I remember that, vision boards.
In a sense, a vision board, like it's a visual management technique, an approach. Okay. Now, when we think of user stories, like they can be put in like iteration-based Agile, which we're going to talk about, or like flow-based Agile, which is when we use the Kanban board and stuff. Okay. Now we're going to talk about iteration. Now, when I say iteration-based Agile, does that mean anything to you?
We can keep going back through it and keep redoing and making it better. And
that sounds good. And so just to hit this, I love it. Just to hit this user story, there's three C's, like the letter C to the user stories. There's the card. It's like the place it's put. Right. There's like the what do you call it? Conversation, meaning that like, here's the real cool thing. It's like, we're not saying we're writing it down and that shall be it. Like officially, I wrote it down, blah, blah, blah. No. This is the invitation for a conversation. So this is saying like, Kim wrote down a story. What do you mean, Kim? Help me understand. It gets you going with the people that know, right? So and why would we do that?
To have a conversation, why we have a conversation.
Yeah, why would we have a conversation? I mean, I like talking to you and all.
That's the great thing about the team, because everyone can start to contribute ideas to make sure that, we're all on the right track or right page. And it could be that someone says, well, no, we don't want to do it this way. Let's do it that way. And it allows for different ideas.
Right. And they like in the conversation, additionally, we might go like, who's this for? Like, who's it for?
Okay.
Like, what do they want? Like, tell me a little bit more. What do they want exactly? And then why do they want it?
Right.
So, because like I got ideas all day long, so do you. Doesn't mean they're good.
Right.
We really want to put it in the shoes, if you will, of the customer. Say, as a something, as a user, as a 12-year-old boy who uses this app or whatever it is, as a something, that's the who. Like, I want the ability to do something. I want to have this button that I push that plays whatever. I want to do this. I want to have something so that's the why, I can get some benefit.
Okay.
So through that conversation, we're going to answer those questions so that we have who's this for? What's the deal? Why? Right. So that everybody has a cleaner understanding and the arrows are pointing the same way. Oh, I know what you mean now. I think I know what you mean.
Okay.
Let's talk.
Okay.
The last C is called confirmation. Like, we're confirming like what ready is, what done is, and like that we agree upon it, those kind of things.
Okay.
So the user stories are bringing alignment.
Okay.
On these. Now, should we dive deep? We have like a bunch of little lines here. Should we dive deep into all these things and just go like, heck, let's nail it down. Let's just go deep into all of them and break them all down. Should we do that?
You don't have to, but you should, because you may find that some of your what's and whys can come down the pike later.
And so what are we really trying to do? Like with these, like, if you go back to Waterfall, like switch your bang back to Waterfall, we have that big, long planning column, right? Where all those processes are.
Right.
We go through every aspect of the scope. We break it down. We decompose it. We make sure that it's valid. We put it on a WBS document, do scope statement and all of these things. We go in, ridiculous detail.
Right. We break it down to the work package.
Yes, ma'am. That's in the Waterfall.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Now over here, we got a bunch of ideas, user stories.
Okay.
What we want to do, like, what's the big thing? Do Do we want to rank them? Like, what's the thing we need to do with this backlog? Is it just what we first idea gets the first thing we do, or what?
You definitely want to rank them because there's some things that some iterations may come out first, and then some things may come out later in later iterations.
Okay. So I'm going to show these like as a little bit different color. I didn't have a yellow, but I'll say like the green ones are like super high value, right? Like really the customer's like, whoa, I can't wait to get this.
And it's going to be awesome now. Okay.
Yeah, I want it now. That's really valuable. The blue stuff, like I'm just showing it's a difference. Like as we go down, it's like, it's kind of cool, but I don't love it. So I wouldn't want that first.
Right.
And then like the red stuff at the bottom is like, yeah, I mean, maybe I want it, maybe I don't, but like it's not gonna, whatever. So like what we're trying to do with this backlog is refine it, groom it, cultivate it so that the important stuff flows to the top.
Right.
And that it's broken down at a level that's estimatable, understandable, and workable.
Okay.
So it's in there so that the things at the top, the team can go, ooh, I understand it. We estimated, we did all these things. We could pull it into an iteration and we could feel confident that we could get it done.
Right.
Now, who owns this backlog?
The product owner owns the backlog.
Yes, ma'am. Cool. And so as we go through this, like this thing is this a one-time thing? Like the backlog, like we throw junk on there and then it's done and or no?
No, you gotta have to keep refining the backlog, or something can come about and the customer may have a new idea or change or a date or anything. And so you may have to go back and adjust it.
Love it. All right, cool. And so, all right, we got a backlog. We got things that are refined. We got things at the top, at the bottom, all those things. We understand about user stories and all those things. What's next? How do we get this work done? What's the deal?
Okay, so say everything has been refined and we know the team knows exactly what they're going to be working on. They would go
the stuff at the top's been refined, like the stuff at the bottom. If it's not valuable, let's not spend a lot of time on it. Right. So cool. But yeah, I got you. So we're ready to go. What do we do now?
So we would start. We would have we would start the iteration, but we want to have. Do I have my sprint before? Yeah, you want to have a sprint meeting.
The iteration planning or sprint planning meeting. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. And everyone goes over what's going to be done.
Okay, so it's top stuff. Yeah.
Right. And then at that point, the execution would start. And once the execution has started, and I'm probably skipping a area.
It's okay. So talk to me about like, do we just say, hey guys, in iteration-based Agile, do we say, hey, dev team, pull some stuff off the backlog, go forth and tell me when you're done? Is that the way it works?
I want to say yes.
You want to say yes, you would be wrong. Like, no, but think about it. Like, if we have spent the time to break down the user stories into quantifiable small chunks of work. I'm simplifying the language so that it kind of makes sense. I'm trying to. So the little things that we want to do, like there's a big thing in iteration and Agile, based thinking, like we want to learn. We want to go through these feedback loops. You'll see a thing that's like this all the time. You know what that little thing means? Like a little thing like that?
To go back.
Yes, ma'am. Like a feedback loop. We want to learn from it.
Right.
So what we're trying to do is what we call time box. That's what they call this little
time box. Yes. And time box.
What does time box mean?
2 weeks. Time box is the time that we're going to be working on it, but it's only within a agreed upon time, and that's maybe 2 weeks. Sometimes it can be a little bit longer.
So it's agreed upon by the team, right? That we are going to operate with time boxes of a certain length. The most common time box in Scrum and Agile is 2 weeks in length. Right. It could be a month, but let's just talk 2 weeks. So that says the team is going to bring in work that we think we can accomplish in 2 weeks.
Right.
Okay. And so this is the product backlog, this little green box. This little blue box right here is called the sprint or the iteration backlog. I can't even spell.
I'm remembering my notes.
So that's when they get on there, the team has to organize that, figure out how they're going to do the work, bring the right people in and out. Like they're going to have to make sure that we can get this done. It's on the team to figure out how to get it done from the grossest sense.
Because they got to bring in whatever resources that they're going to need, other teams if they're going to be working with another team. So they would go
whatever
through
they need.
But okay.
I love it. And we want to think about our teams in Agile in what sense? Like, how are they constructed? Like, what's the buzzwords that we want to think through? How many backlogs do we have? What do you think, Kim? Like, they want to be something hyphen something. Anybody? I'll answer your question, Jorge, in a second. Like, how do we want to define, everybody out there in TV land, how do we want to define this team? Like, what characteristics do they have? This is grapefruit juice, by the way. I think. In Agile. Yes, in Agile. So they're going to be cross-functional, self-organizing.
It's I was going through the Agile guide, and there were some new words like crystal and
stream programming, stuff like that. So XP. The way to think about that, those are different Agile techniques and approaches. So I would not, if I were you, focus on crystal, extreme programming, and those other things. We want to nail down fundamental methodologies. I look at the Agile Manifesto. I look at, all these things about how this works. Like Vishal says out there, the Agile teams need to be cross-functional, self-reliant, self-managing, all those things, self-organizing. That's where we change that mentality. Instead of like, whoosh, they're mindless robots doing what we say they are cherished like parts in the process.
Okay.
All right. And so this dev team are the folks that are doing all this. They're bringing in the work. They're going to the sprint backlog. And what did Jorge asked? Jorge said, how many backlogs do we have? So Kim, how many backlogs in iteration-based Agile do we have?
There's sprint, there's product, and is it 3? 2?
Call it. Sprint. Okay. No. We're good. Sprint and iteration and product backlog. So that's what we got. Okay. The 2. Thank you, Jorge. Keep the questions coming and the statements from the outside. Good. All right. So we got this. And then do we just go, the team is in this sprint backlog. They got 2 weeks, or they got the iteration, and just like, hey guys, we'll see you in 2 weeks. Good luck. Is that how it works or what?
No. So every day they meet up in their sprint meeting to go over what was completed the day before and what we're going to do today. And then you have
so let's go through those 3 questions. You said the daily, what's it called?
Daily stand-up.
Daily stand-up. You can also call it the daily scrum. Daily stand-up. You got it. Okay. And then so that's good. And what are the 3 things that all the team members come and talk about? What's the 3 questions?
What was done previously or yesterday?
So yesterday, right? This is what I was doing yesterday. This is what I accomplished yesterday. What's the next thing?
What we're going to be doing today.
And?
I want to say what we learned.
In a sense, like, what's the best way, the way you don't want to learn, but what's the best way to learn something?
Redo it or
well, a lot of times the best way that it's not the best way to learn, but the most impactful way is like to make mistakes, have blockers, have problems, those things. Like I never remember the sunny days.
It's not a lesson learned, but like
I remember the ones. Hey, what's up, man? Blocker Facebook user says blockers. That would be correct. Okay. Yeah. So like, what are the blockers? What are the rocks? What are the things holding us back?
Okay.
And why is it important to raise our hand in those meetings, the team, and say, I got a blocker, I got something holding me back? Why is that important on a daily basis?
That's important because as you keep going through your iterations, it allows you to get better with the final product.
Absolutely. And then like even in the like think day, we're raising our hand. We're working together. We're trying to, unblock ourselves, break those rocks, stuff like that. So we're not suffering in silence. We're raising it up and we're sticking. Like, how long is this daily stand up during the day?
Oh, only about 15, maybe 30 at max.
Let's stop there. Okay. Only 15. We'll just stick. We'll just boom, core on it. What was it done? Are we going to now? Yeah, I love it. Vishal, what was done? Where are we going to do now? Where are the blockers? Beautiful, man. And you nailed it too. 15 minutes, really crisp, really things. And if we have like blockers and we start the solution, we go, whoa. After. Y'all talk about it after, nail it. Okay. What's the role of the Scrum Master in this whole process?
So the Scrum Master, I like to use the word coach, is to kind of guide the team to make sure they stay on point with everything. Anything that comes up, they may have to wait until the next iteration or the retrospective meeting so they can go over some more details.
Okay, I can dig it. That sounds great. So we got daily stand-ups, and then they work, solve, daily, all that stuff. What happens at the end? Do we just go and do it again? Or what's at the end? What happens at the end?
The next great thing about Agile is we constantly bring the customer in and allow them to review the demo and add their yes, no approval to it, and go from there.
Yeah, we're getting, they're understanding the functionality. They're pushing the buttons. They're seeing like, oh, this kind of was what I thought, but not totally. Right. And so that's what it's going to, and we get a feedback loop there. Maybe there's more requirements that go back into the backlog. Maybe they accept or reject. Who knows? But we got to make sure that the customer, the business owner, whatever it is in there so we can get feedback. So we got the demo. So we got iteration planning. We got daily stand-ups. We got our daily scrum, whatever you call it. Demo, review. What else we got? Thank you, Vishal. Boom.
So now,
and then go, Kim. Facilitate, educate, listen, servant leadership. Basically, yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I like that. Thank you. Yeah. So at this point, we got our feedback from the customer. He or she said yes, no on whatever the items are. They go back to another iteration.
And we're just going to do the cycle again, right? Right. Iteration planning. The refinement would have happened like while this is going on so that it's not like, oh God, we're done. What are we going to do now? And there's also that retrospective, right? There's a retrospective. And so what do we do in the retrospective?
Because you go back through, of course, same thing which you would have gone through in your daily stand-up, but you go in more detail. You talk about your past adjustments or successes. You talk about
like issues or failures, like how are we good, how are we bad, what can we do better?
Yeah.
Like a non-judgment kind of environment. We're trying to make the system better and roll it out.
Right.
Now, reflecting, as Vishal said, love it, man. We're trying to reflect and really improve. It's really continuous improvement at its base. And then the system continues. Now, every time we produce here, we're producing, an iteration, like as we go through here, and we're just boom, 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 pumping it through. Everybody's got to do their individual parts. Like the product owner's got to manage their neighborhood, team, etc. as we go through here. Sometimes some of these terms we might, be working to deliver the MVP. That's not most valuable player. Like, what does MVP mean just as a term? Kim? Somebody from TV land, but don't give up, Kim. I don't know how to spell. I don't think this is right. I don't think I'm spelling it right.
Viable.
Yeah, minimum, or I said it.
Viable possibility or productivity?
Minimum viable product.
Okay.
Minimum viable product. So like that's like as we're getting going, we want to think about like what could the customer use, because we're trying to deliver like early and often. we're trying to like drop value, boop, 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 all the time instead of just like, hey, we delivered you some fancy Christmas present in December. No, it's like, let's start in January and continue to deliver value.
Okay,
so minimum viable product is one of those terms.
Okay, I won't forget that. I'll remember that. Okay.
All right, that's good.
Okay.
And so, Nana got it. Yay! Minimum viable product. Hey, what's up, Robert? Nice to see you. Vishal got it. Robert got it. Everybody got it. Kim's got it now. So, like, there might be a roadmap overall that talks about, like, hey, this is how we're going to release things.
Okay.
Like, here's how. And so there's an overall roadmap that might be from top to bottom, and this won't be to scale, but like, we're going to deliver this first, like the first thing. And then there's a second thing that we're going to work on. These are like little chevron things, like whatever.
Right.
3, and it like talks about that. Then inside of that, we might have like releases. Like you might have to do a couple iterations. We might not be ready right here to like go to the customer. Like you might have to do this one, and then that'll give us enough that we can release a minimum viable product.
Right.
And release means like, release it to the world, to the customer. Like, here you go. It's usable. Hit the buttons. Have fun. Okay. And then we might do a couple more. Boom, a release goes out. So we do release planning. And get these things going. So it's cool. And so this is iteration-based Agile. Like this cycle, as crazy as it looks on here, it's really simple.
Okay, but it makes sense to me. Okay, yeah.
All right, that's good. Now, I don't want to screw you up, but we talked about... we're just going to clear the page. That's easier. We talked about flow-based Agile.
Okay.
What's the difference? Like we talked about sprints and iterations and stuff. If we were like flow-based Agile, what's the difference there? Like
I passed
conceptually
this on the quiz. Okay, flow-based was being able to you have to be able to change up. It may not go in the same process that
let's talk about it this way. Okay. What's the difference between the word flow and iteration in your mind?
Flow, it may have its own way of doing things, or iteration, you kind of have to do it a certain way, but flow, you may have to change it up.
No? Let's think about this. Okay, let's think about it this way. Like, there's a tank that has work in it. Something. I'm making this up, okay? Mm-hmm. So this is where all our work is. Now, in the iteration, let's even go crazier. Let's go to Waterfall. Like, just straight Waterfall, build a big bridge kind of thinking. The way that works is we look at all our work, scope that we want to do, and we say, let's plan it all out, and we get some crazy long like plan that works out, and it's all scheduled, and we do that all up front, and blah blah blah. That's all there. Tons of work up front, right? Flow goes from iteration to iteration. In a sense, Jorge, I'll talk you through it. So that's Waterfall. Now, the problem is we do a tremendous amount of planning way up front, and we work it through. And when we find out that we're not perfect, that we don't know, like certain environments would allow this, build a big bridge. But in certain environments where there's a lot of change needed and those things, like this Waterfall way is not the best way to do it. So we want to go with an Agile way that's more like responsive to customer value, where we learn continuously. All right. And so what we want to do here is we talked about iterations, where we're taking this work and we're breaking it down like in 2-week chunks to simplify. Hey, we're going to do this. Bang, we're producing something. Bang. So instead of like Waterfall, where it's like a multi-year process, we are learning on a 2-week cycle. Bang, 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 and adjusting it.
Right.
Now, to go even further back, if we think about this, like we could go into what they call flow-based Agile, and certain environments like necessitate this better, but where we are just evaluating our capacity, not by the iteration, but by the individual. And we're controlling the amount that each person works on it. So imagine this backlog here, all right? Product backlog. And then imagine that this is like on a board in a sense. Like you talked about that Kanban board thing you mentioned, right? And so this is the work to do. Because that's essentially what it is. This is work we will do It's ranked by value. So the top stuff is the hot stuff, what we want.
Right.
Then if we think about like we're to do stuff and then doing, meaning underway. If we think about, in a sense, like on the Kanban board, the people aren't on there, but I'm going to draw them just to facilitate something.
Okay.
Like say there's Kim and Scott. Like this is you got hair. This is me. I got less. And so these other people, and like, what do we want those people to do with this work? Like if I have a desk, I only have 2 hands. Like, what do you want me to do with the work? Like, how much do you want me to bring in if I only got 2 hands, 1 brain, and it works most times? Like, what do you want me to do with the work?
So you would work with a smaller portion, and then I would work, I would work on, I don't know.
So if I brought in 1 card, I'm like, ooh, I like that one. That seems fun. I could do that. Sweet. And then while I'm up there, I'm like, you know what? Like, I'll do this one too. That's pretty sweet. I'll do that. And then I'm like, dang, like I don't want Kim to get this one.
Yeah, I can take
like that.
Right.
So what could happen? The natural inclination is like, I'm going to hoard my work. But can I actually get that stuff done? Like right now?
Yes.
Like at the same time, like I can't juggle.
No, you can't do it all by yourself. No.
Right. And so what we don't want to do is allow me to take all the cool jobs or the things I like or hoard them up and say like, oh, no one's smarter than me. I'm going to work all these. But what we want to do is we want to control whip. What's whip? Don't worry about it. It's an acronym. It's called, I'll give you the first word. Work. I won't give you the rest. I don't know.
Work.
Second one.
Internal? I don't know.
No, that's where it starts with a P. P-R-O.
Oh. Progress.
Work in progress. Yay. Michelle got it. Nana got it. Drigger got it. Whatever got it. Yay, we all got it. So work in progress. What we want to do is control whip, because there's this thing called, I don't know who came up with this term, but it's a good one. It's like the myth of multitasking. Like it doesn't matter whether it's like computer guys and girls or guys in a workshop or anything like that. You go to a lot of their desk, mine included. I'm a hypocrite. And you'll see like multiple things going there. But in reality, all you're doing is spreading your time, you're context shifting, and you're really not, you're starting completing a lot of things which feels so good, but you're not finishing anything.
Right.
And it eats at your soul, or at least mine. So what we want to do is control whip, work in process, meaning the work we have in progress, right? So the rules in a sense are that Kim can pull 1, Scott can pull 1 that they can work on. And that's what they're there. And so why would it be important for like the little picture of you, but maybe there's a little dot that says like, this is Kim and this is like Scott or something like that. Why is it important that we put that card up there in our doing column and people can see this is underway and Scott or Kim has it? Why is that important?
If you have, I mean, I would think that you can narrow down the responsibility, but I'm not sure if that's it.
Yeah, that's good. Asking opening questions. It's to show, to be like, hey, this is what's underway. It's to visualize. There's no magic in the cards. Like they're paper. It's that we can see it as humans. We can visualize it. So what we're trying to do is manage. Like what did Jorge say? You can't take on work bigger than the team's capacity or the individual's capacity. So we're going to be honest with ourselves. I'm taking this on. I'm working it. I don't have 4 jobs I'm juggling. And so what we're doing in this visual board is that we have our backlog, and it's all the things that we are or could to-dos, the to-dos. Then this is what is going on. And there might be more because there's more people working or whatever, so that anybody at any time can go up to the board in a common space and say, what's going on? They can see, right? Now, if we really wanted to make this thing visual to give a good understanding of what's happening, like what else? So the cards, also think about the cards. They can have the write-up on there. They can have the the card, the confirmation, the
Yeah.
conversation, the details. They can have it all there,
Mhm.
you know, and more details like the test and whatever. There's a lot of details as we get into it, whatever the work demands. What other kind of columns might we want to have on this little board, just for simplicity's sake?
So your to-do, your doing, and maybe how long, what the time.
How long? What would that look like?
That, I mean, you still have your 2-week time box, but
Hold on, let me ask you a question.
uh-huh.
Do we have a 2-week time box in flow-based Agile?
No. Well, no, because if you're doing individuals, then you got to have a time box. You got to have a schedule.
Do you?
Shoot.
So it's like, if I have a desk and I got a brain and I got hands and I've made an estimate for how long this takes and it's being measured, like from the time it got on the to-do list. So there's different measures.
Mm-hmm.
There's like from the high level, like how long, like when did the time starts of when it gets on here.
Right.
How long did it take to get picked up? We can measure that.
Right.
And how long did it take to get worked? That's another measure. Like we can measure that. It's measurable.
Right.
Now, what really matters is, am I focused? Am I working on my work, on my job? And then once I finish it, do I pass it? I pass it to the next person down the chain.
Right.
And then I go, my desk is clear. Let me pull something in. So that's why it's flow.
Okay. And it's individual. Okay.
Individuals, or like individuals serve tasks. Like there could be a tester function, you know, the individual developers, mechanics, like a lot of this stuff. This technique of like doing it like this can be used in a lot of different environments. This is just a workflow management, like practice. Okay. And it's just basically saying that, like, don't take more work than you can do at one time, because you're kidding yourself. You can't do more than you can do.
So what would be a good example of what can I still use a software update as an example for flow-based? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if there are tasks, if there are things that we have to do, functionalities to add, etc., tests to do, like we have people to do them. We're just saying like we have the work and the to-dos. We have the people that are able to do it, pull in the work, and then pass it to the next. So it might have the sequence that we need to go to, and then it might go to someone else. And then your desk, in a sense, might open up. Then you can go back to the backlog, pull it in, and move it through. So the work flows through you. It doesn't accumulate at your desk. You work it, it flows out. You work it, it flows out.
And so that next column, without really knowing, that next column could be who I pass it to, who the next.
It could be that. So what we could do is we could do like, this could be a doing like multi-column thing. It could be like, you know, build, like whatever, test, whatever, QA, I don't know. It could be whatever the steps are. And certain things might go, you know, to all of them, and certain of them might. Just whatever the workflow is. Like it could be like, you know, in like a manufacturing sense, you could be like the person who grinds all the edges off everything. Okay, cool. The second person welds it together. Cool. Yeah. The third person tests the welds. Cool. The fourth person does whatever. Like however you design it. But like in the biggest sense, it's like visualizing where the work is as it flows through the system.
Okay, almost like maybe like a warehouse, like supply chain. Okay.
In a sense, like the work is flowing through, and we're not saying like do more. It's like, what can the individual do? So let's just call it like there's a to-do, there's a doing, and then some people in TV land have put they said we could have a done column. Thank you, Jorge. We could have Nana, we could have a done column. We could have a complete column. We could have in progress, test, done, blocked. We could add testing. Thank you, Nana. This is where Scrum meeting comes in. Haha. You say you have impediments, and you can get extra resources, remove them. Yes, Gregory. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Like, so like we might have done. This is just simplicity, but the team can design the board as it needs.
Okay.
So it might go to done, or it might go to like blocked or have an issue or something like that. And that, this might go to there to signal to people that like, we have a problem.
Right.
We have a problem. And maybe they go out for like the daily stand-ups or these meetings, right?
Okay.
But it's always there. And it works through.
I like this.
Okay. How confident? 1 out of 1,000. Where are you on this one? Like 1,000's like you can write a book tomorrow. 100, I don't care.
For flow based, because I'm very visual. I'm gonna say I got some confidence here.
Okay.
I just need a good example. What would be? And
you've been to Burger King?
Yeah.
You've been no. You've been to Subway.
Right.
Subway sandwiches?
Yes.
Okay.
And they pass.
Let's go to Subway.
Okay.
What happens at Subway?
So you have.
I'm a sandwich artist now. There's like a little table. We're looking down. There's like a, like that like plastic thing at the top where you can't like touch the food. So you're over here ordering your sandwich.
Right.
What happens? Like this cook sandwich guy, girl is right here. What do they do?
You start with your bread.
Right. So they get a little tray thingy. They put your bread down, and then there's like condiments and stuff.
Right.
They don't throw like 4 sandwiches down usually. No. They just do one.
Right.
So it's one station. They have their condiments and stuff, and they say, "What do you want?"
Right. So
and then you say, "I want, ham and cheese and all that jazz." They go, they put it on your thing, and what do? They move. Sometimes they got another dude sitting right here, and sometimes they got another dude sitting here, and sometimes they got another dude sitting at the cash register. Right. Like, I don't know, that's a cash register. And basically, your little sandwich goes from here to here, and then this person, you have your little condiments, and they go, "What else do you want?" They might
do you
put
want to
salt,
heat
pepper.
it? They put it in a little oven for you.
They might put it in the little oven. You can only put one thing in an oven at the time.
Right.
Like there. And then it might come out and it might drop back in here.
Yep.
But here's the thing, like another sandwich might be in front of this dude who's doing whatever, wrapping it up, and it might have to wait.
And get my chips. And my
get your chips, and this person might go like, you want this person at the end usually is like, you want chips and a drink and whatever,
right?
But they only answer one at a time, so it moves straight through there. But here's the thing, like there's a customers here and here, they're not even looking at you until this space opens up,
right?
Okay. And then they're saying, okay, I'll take the next thing off the backlog, meaning the next customer in line. What do you want? And they're flowing it through.
Okay. This is good. Okay.
That's good. And so he says, like Gregory says, each station keeps iterating and improving and releasing the sandwiches. Kind of. But we might, if we ran a Subway at the end of the day or something, we might have a little conversation and we might say, "Hey, what happened today? How did it go well? How did it not go well?" We might do a little retrospective weekly or daily or whatever, if we're thinking about that. Or if we had we're just like screwing sandwiches up left and right, we might say, "Whoop, let's go to the back room. Let's get control. What's happening here?" My root cause. Like, "Oh, Kim thinks she's special. She can do 4 sandwiches at the same time." You're not really a sandwich artist, Kim. You're just working a station. All right. So like, that's the way it goes. So if they were to teach Agile, just think about Subway, flow-based Agile. Boom, moves on. Now, every sandwich doesn't need to go get toasted, right?
No, they don't.
They don't. Like, I don't like toasted sandwiches in that sense. I like them cold. I don't know why. But, like, my brother likes toasted sandwich. But, like, so in that sense, like, the columns would be on the Kanban board would be essentially this. And so this might be the toasted column. And my sandwich might just go straight over to the dude trying to sell me chips or whatever, or bagging me up or whatever.
Right.
That's the way to think about it.
Okay, this is good.
We're trying. That's it. That's it.
Good.
It's an art, not a science. Okay, cool. Sweet. You want to do some Agile questions?
Yes, please.
All right, give me a second. Give me a second. I got to share. Everybody out there in TV land, was this helpful or not helpful? Did you learn, not learn? Yes, very clear and good example. All right, sweet. Give me a sandwich. Cool. And so here we go. All right. So, Stop stream, stop share. It's all right. Kim just jumped off. Gregory says good. Gregory, you're in the program, dude, or no? Stacy is. Facebook user says very helpful. Vishal says helpful. Yay. Share it with your friends. Thank you, Jorge. Hey, I don't know how the internet works, but I think if you share these things, more people see them and stuff. So if you could just share it on social media and say like, Greg, you should come to the program, dude. Send me a text or send me an email, Gregory or anybody else, Scott at PMmasterPrep.com. And I'll let you in a coaching call tonight. You'll probably see Kim in there. And I'll let you see what we do. So check it out. Send me stuff. All right. Let me see how screen share. Let me get the questions over here. All right, let me bust them out. Don't let me go too long. We gotta be on a call at 7. So I was only gonna go. It's all right. It's all right.
Few questions.
Just a few. Hey, your friend says hello. Miss Kravitz says, hey, Cam. What's up? What's up? All right. So add the stream. Here we go. All right. Take it away, Kim.
Okay. Who has not properly performed their duties in this situation? A recently formed Agile team is exhausted after working 12-hour days to fulfill their sprint commitments. Who has not properly performed their duties in this situation?
So first of all, Agile, iteration-based Agile or flow-based Agile?
This is iteration.
Because the word? Because what word? Got it right. I just want to make sure you're right.
I want to say it's because of the, I was looking at the 12-hour commitment sprint. Okay.
12-hour day to fulfill their sprint commitments. Like everybody can work long days. Even Subway people work long days.
Okay.
But the sprint commitments mean iteration or sprint. So keep going. Okay. Who hasn't performed? So the team's working their ears off 12 hours a day to fulfill their thing. They're exhausted. Cool. Who hasn't performed their duties in this situation?
So A, project manager. No, I'm not going to select that one just because we're looking at Agile. B, team members. Yeah, it's not a
core function of Agile. Yes, ma'am.
Team members. Well, the team members are the ones that have been working. C, product owner. And then he or she looks over the overall project. I'm going to say D, the scrum master, because that's more of the coach kind of guiding the team. So I'm going to go with scrum master.
That's awesome. So Kim, Robert's on D as well. Anybody else have any opinions before we hit the button? Vishal, yeah, what's up, dude? You're in the program. That's awesome. Greg, send me your stuff. I'll get you in. Yeah, scrum master. So you said the coach. So talk to me a little bit more like what are they deficient in? Why are they doing a bad job? Like, what would they do differently if you were advising the advisor? What would you do? Oh, Jorge says B. Good, we can debate. Keep going.
Okay. The reason I say the scrum master is because that person is the person that kind of guides them. They shouldn't be to me, exhausted. They should be able to go through their iterations, go through their stand-ups, and kind of decipher through any issues that they have. They shouldn't have to keep working all of these hours to be exhausted.
Yeah, and they're like the advocate, the guide, the coach. And so a lot of times, like the Scrum Master can't stop them. Like if you think about Jiminy Cricket and what's that, like Pinocchio? Remember that one?
Right.
Like Pinocchio still did some ridiculous things. Like he hung out with those kids and he almost got turned into a donkey. Like he started smoking cigars. Like he believed the wrong people. He lied his ears off. Like he got a long nose. But Jiminy Cricket was there the whole time, just being like, yo, like you should be not doing this, or like, think through your actions. Let your conscience be your whatever he said. So he couldn't. So sometimes the team's going to go sideways, but like the Scrum Master obviously should be trying to catch it as quickly as possible. But sometimes like off the rails it goes. But like being that advocate, that coach, like you talked about, bringing them back. What did we learn? How did we go?
Right.
Yeah. Sweet. Okie dokie. Let's move it on. So you got one right. That's good. So you're going to get a 2% on the exam at least. It's not bad. I'm just joking. Keep going. Everybody else put your answers in chat. Feel like I'm in a coaching call now. Put it in the thing down below. Go ahead.
Okay, what should the project manager do to determine next steps? Over the past 6 months, the development cost per story has risen by more than 250% due to a faulty platform, which is no longer supported. The product vision highlights the unique features of the platform are a prerequisite for the product. What should the project manager do to determine the next steps? Okay, so it's a lot going on here. So over the past 6 months, the development cost per story has risen more than 250% due to faulty platforms. So, and it's no longer supported. Okay. And the product vision highlights that unique features of the platform are a prerequisite. So it's not supported and you have a prerequisite. Okay. What should the manager do next? A, cancel the project due to exceeding the budget constraint. No, I don't want to cancel the project right away, so I'm not going to do that. Ask the product owner to select an alternative platform. I like talking to the product owner, but I'm not sure I want to change the platform just yet. I'm going to hold that one. C, cancel the project as the product vision cannot be fulfilled. No, I don't want to cancel the project. And then D, run what if cost impact scenarios with the product owner. Okay. So I like D because it gives me an opportunity to kind of do a review, some type of analysis, and work with the product owner so they can go back through the backlog. Ask the product owner to select alternative platform. Well, you can select an alternative platform, but you need to review. You need to have some other scenarios since one, there's a cost issue, and then two, it's not being supported. So I'm going to go with D, the what if cost impact, because we need to see what the impact is on all of these different things that are going on with the project.
Okay, cool. Is that what if cost analysis type thing, the impacts, is that just an Agile thing? Like we do just do this in Agile, or could we do this anytime, anywhere?
No, I thought I've seen what if in Waterfall as well. But
yeah, I think we could do it any place. It's just like look down the different streets, A option, B option, C option, stuff like that.
Right. And then that's actually doing something. Whereas B is just asking him to change.
Yeah.
Why would he just change? For what?
So here's another thing, Kim, that you just pointed out. Like, as you get into these questions, like a lot of times this one might have slapped us in the face, but a lot of times, like they won't, but you're going to use a lot of those context clues, the approach clues, all those things we talk about in our Hard Question Made Easy, like modules and in the courses, to like go back to basics, understand, like go back and try to understand before action. We're building consensus. We're building like buy-in with the other people. We're doing those kind of things. We're kind of like taking that typewriter, going back to the foundations and understanding and analyzing, instead of just throw it on another person and say, you figure it out. Okay. Like you're the boss. And so with this one, run what if cost impact scenarios, like why the product owner? Like why not the team or the scrum master or the boss or something? Why the product owner?
Well, I say the product owner because the product owner owns the backlog. They has all of the what, the why, and how we're going to do things.
Yeah, and the product owner is the person that signs off and approves. Like, hey, if we got to make a change, they're cutting the check in a sense to go with it. Now in Waterfall, if we have a big change like this, what body or what would be the method by which we get the changes approved? Like,
so we go through the change control board, And then the sponsor, of course, is the big person, but
change control board. Yeah. They'll probably be on there and all those things. So awesome. And then I think, Jorge, you said C, my friend. Why do you think C? Normally, like in the coaching calls, I can just ask. Here it's tough. I wish. Why did you say C? Yeah, Vishal said CCB. So let me know. So the answer is D. Yeah, 1F scenario. So let's do one more.
Okay.
And hit it up, and then I'm gonna go to the coaching call, and I'll give what's his name a call.
Okay.
So take it away, Kim. Greg a call.
All right. Which measure should the project manager take to achieve shorter, more efficient daily meetings? Select 2. Members of a virtual Agile team are separated by 7 time zones. Wow. Daily meetings are too long, and the problem is made worse by switching laptop cameras between the speaking members. Which measure should the project manager take to achieve shorter, more efficient daily meetings? A, use the iteration reviews to discuss the Kanban board. We want to make the meeting shorter. So, okay, no.
Why? Couldn't get the words
out. Because I'm thinking daily meetings, I'm thinking of stand-up.
Is that what they're talking about? Like the iteration review, is that the stand-up?
No, that's the iteration review is what you do, what the team does at the end.
At the end. Okay, good pick up there. Yeah.
So no, and then B, require all members to stand during the full meeting. Okay, that's just funny. I don't want to do that at all. And
okay, you don't want to do that? Okay.
C, place webcams to face the Kanban boards and teams. Okay, we can do that because it could be an issue. They're switching between their laptops, so cameras. So yeah, it's like technical,
like board. All these things, like, it's getting in the way. Cool. All right. So C, we're like C. Cool.
Yeah. D, ask the team members to raise blockers offline. Yeah, you could do that, and then they can when they get on camera, they can be ready to discuss the blockers, and then so we'll hold that one. E.
Well, hold on a second. The back end of what you said is when you get in the meetings, they're prepared to discuss the blockers. Do we discuss the details of, or what's wrong with that statement?
No. That would not be done during those quick meetings.
Tell me why.
Because it's too long. I mean, it's only 15 minutes. And
right.
The blockers, we do it during your retrospect and during your iteration reviews.
Well, hold on. No. Okay. Do we take the blockers in there and talk about them during the iteration review?
No. Okay, wait a minute. Yeah, can't we do blockers in the morning, like during the stand-up?
We're going to raise our hand and say, I have a blocker, right?
Okay. But
we're not going to go, here's the thing. We're not going to go in there and we're not going to go, blah, 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 blah. Here's the details. I've tried all these things. I'm lost. I can't figure it out. It should work. We're not going to go through that because that never ends. What we want to do is say, I have a blocker. Here's an issue. I think I need some help on this. Anybody know how to do it? Yeah, I got it. Whatever. Or whatever. Hey, Joe, I need your help. Y'all talk about it afterwards, outside of the 50 minutes so we can go to the next person.
Gotcha. Okay. And then E, speakers, limit speakers to only members who have made progress. So definitely C, and I'm going to pick E because there is so many of them in different time zones. So if you haven't had anything new to add, I wouldn't waste your time.
Okay. So I got good news for you. Jorge agrees with you. But I got bad news. Vishal disagrees with you. Gregory agrees with the other Vishal, and then Gregory that's the previous one. So okay, A and C. All right, sweet. And then Jorge's in C and E. Sweet.
Okay.
All right, cool. And then I got an opinion too. one of us is right.
Okay.
Tamara says B.
Require all members to stand during the full meeting?
What's the meeting called?
It's called a daily stand-up.
Why do you think they called it that?
I guess you would stand up, but
it's not mandatory, but like what? But why do you think like they didn't call it the daily sit down? I'm not joking. They literally didn't call it the daily lay down.
It was basically, hey, give me your 5-minute take, or not even 5 minutes. Give me 2 minutes, tell you what's going on, and go get to work.
Because we're trying to status, it's not necessarily status, we're trying to make micro commitments between each other, and we're trying to raise blockers so that we can break them after the thing to keep work moving.
Okay.
Like we're not sitting down and like, having these meetings that are like, have you ever noticed that like all meetings are either 30 minutes or an hour? Does that just mean magically that like our brains are organized like, oh, it's 30? No. It's like people fill the time. Like if I have an hour and a half to teach, going to take an hour and a half. Don't know how it happens. The Lord takes me to an hour and a half with words. I don't know. But like, so what's happening here is like, so maybe standing up. And what's the problem here? They're too long. Like they said, switching laptops, there's some computer things. That's weird. You seem to have solved that one with the webcam. Like put them toward the faces of the people talking.
Right.
All like, they're all in frame. Right. Or they can pop in and out. Right. And then put a camera on the board so we can see like, hey, I'm talking about this thing. I'm talking about that thing. Here's where it is. Like those are the key subjects. You need to like those subjects. Now, the other thing is like you said, limit, and like a lot of you guys said this. So I'm gonna hold you all accountable. Got to live with our answers. Like Jorge said C and E. Vishal said A and C. Gregory said A and C. Totally cool. No big deal. And so the E folks, like limit speakers, and that's you too, Kim, limit speakers to only members who have made progress. If I said that was wrong, why would it be wrong?
If it was wrong, it was because you want to know what took place yesterday. Like, why haven't you made progress?
Yeah. Like if you're suffering through things and like, if the ability to speak is only contingent on you being able to produce something, then eventually no one's going to speak because we're all going to find problems and we're never going to talk about it.
Okay.
Right. So you might be like, yesterday I planned to do this, didn't get any of it done because I got this giant blocker and I want to get the work that I thought I was going to do yesterday plus a teensy bit more. I need some help.
Okay.
Then you're like, okay, that was useful.
So I want to change.
Well, I would hope so.
A and C.
A and C. All right, let me figure out how to erase. All right, so we're going to go A and C. She says A and C. Somebody else is on A and C too. So we're going to get rid of this. She's on A and C. Use the iteration reviews. Now, remind me again, what are the iteration reviews? They happen at the end of the iteration?
Yeah, they happen at the end. So that means that I'm taking it that the team is talking a lot more about some things that they can do on the back end, like their blockers and, well, not just blockers, but it could be any issues that they have. We need to have some review time in the iteration. So
let me ask you a question real quick. From a customer standpoint, what do they care about in the review? Like, we're there for the customer in a sense. What do they care about?
Does it meet the objective of what I'm asking? Are you giving me what I'm asking for?
Did you do what I said, and does it meet the expectations that I had? I had a belief that this was working, blah, blah, blah. This would be great. Let me see it or not. Do they care how you got there?
No, they don't.
Kanban board, Sanban board, you work at Subway. I don't care. Give me what I want. Right. And let me walk through it. So if we go in there and say, hey, I'd love to talk about the Kanban board, they'd be like, no, homie. Like, we're going to talk about what you produced for me. That's what they care about. So why waste their time?
Okay, so it's not A. It
ain't A. I don't know if you can pick up those subtle clues.
Okay,
it ain't
definitely definitely B, like I think Tamara said it, B and C. And that's my
B
final
and
answer.
C. All right. That's good. Yeah. And so there's little like things. So here it is. Like the stand-up thing is just getting people prompt, ready to go, being focused. I mean, Agile team all over the world. We're all there with a purpose and a reason. We're prepared. We're going to follow through the 3 steps. So that's cool. Standing up. We're not goofing around on time. And then we're trying to get the technology lined up enough to make a unique or difficult situation as best as possible. We're on 7 continents. Yay for us. Our time zones. Let's figure out a way to make it work.
Okay.
Daily stand-up. And then the iteration reviews has a purpose. You don't want to waste the time in the iteration review just to beat a dead horse. Talking about system improvements, you need to use that time to talk about what you produced and didn't, or what you produced, whether they like it or not, and can we get better from it? Are there ideas? Are there positive? That's valuable time.
Okay.
That's cool. And then limit the speakers. We know that everybody talks 1, 2, 3. Yesterday, today, blocker.
Okay.
Ask the team rate offline. Sure, we want to know, there's nothing to say you have to wait till I got a problem. I'm going to wait till 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. No. Dude, I got a problem right now. People solve problems all the time.
Right.
But we want to say at this point, I have a blocker. That's what we're doing. We're surfacing every day.
Okay.
But we can't say break them offline, because if we raise them offline, what am I going to tell you? Just you? I got to tell everybody.
Yeah, this is a team. Yeah, it's a team effort. So we all got to know how it impacts us.
Right. Or it might not, so it's there. So there we go. Woo. Did you have fun, Kim?
Yeah, I really think I'm going to have Agile. I'm going to keep reviewing, but this really helped. This really helped.
I'm glad. I think you're doing great. We just got to focus on the fundamentals as always. And I think you're going to do good on the exam. I know it is. And just keep going. Don't go sideways or anything. Don't go crazy. Stay calm.
Okay.
And you're going to do great. Okay. And if there's anybody out there that wants to work and stuff like Kim has, in the Accelerator, I know it says, no, it doesn't. Just email me, scott@PMmasterPrep.com, or go to the website, hit the little thing, and go to the, contact Scott or apply for the Accelerator. Then we can talk about your situation and crank it out for you. Simple as that. All right, Kim, I'll see you in the next coaching call in a little while. Are we doing this again next Wednesday? Yes, Jorge, we are. I will never stop until I die. So see you later. All right, see you later, Kim. Talk to you soon. See you guys. I'll call you in a minute. What's his name? Gregory.